Welcome to Ask the Expert with noted radio host Steve Sleeper. Each week, Steve interviews entrepreneurs and professionals and shares their intriguing stories of success and service. Now, here's radio veteran Steve Sleeper.
Our guest today is Utah DUI defense lawyer Zachary C. Holbrook. Attorney Holbrook focuses on Utah DUI law and will represent you with skill and authority. Zachary, what advantage do you offer those accused of a DUI?
A lot of clients come to me and say, I got charged with a DUI. And even when they walk in my office, they think, I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Not very many people are educated with the protocol officers are trained on. And I along with a few attorneys, in my area that have been to the same training, myself included, that it's basically the same training officers go to. We're talking about the field sobriety test. They call it the standardized field sobriety test, which is, the HGN. A lot of people call that the eye test. And officers are supposed to follow that protocol to the T fairly strong, and it's amazing how many officers administer those tests poorly. All DUI attorneys are criminal defense attorneys, but all criminal defense attorneys are not DUI attorneys. They don't look in depth in these body cam videos or dash cam videos for these field sobriety tests, and then there's chain of custody issues that come with blood results. There's a slew of evidence to attack the untoxilizer test, and a lot of criminal defense attorneys are not aware of that.
What are the penalties for a DUI first?
It's a maximum penalty of 6 months in jail. They call it here in Utah Class B misdemeanor. The fines are roughly up about $1,500. They can vary a little bit. It's a mandatory 2 days in jail. Most judges will let, in lieu of the 2 days in jail, they'll let you do 48 hours community service. With a DUI conviction in the state of Utah, you're subjected at most times to one of those interlock devices, which you have to pay for. Those are just one of the hidden costs that add up in a DUI. One thing that I find, when you get cited for a DUI in the state of Utah, you have 10 days to appeal the driver's license suspension that comes with a DUI. You have 10 days to notify the driver's license division here in Utah, of you're taking a right or establishing a right to have a hearing. But also on the officers say, well, on the criminal side of things, you have 5 to 14 days to notify the local court where these charges are going to be pending. Well, a lot of people mix that 10-day DLD hearing with the 5 to 14-day criminal charges. So sometimes I get a DUI when the 10 days has passed, which I find that imperative for a DLD hearing because a lot of attorneys, criminal defense attorneys, will say, oh, that DLD hearing's worthless. They're just going to take your license. And it's a 120-day suspension the first time if you do get your license suspended. But the caveat to that is I like to build a record. They're recorded hearings. So if an officer says one thing in a driver's license division hearing, he totally flip-flops his story, that's great impeachment evidence. And sometimes there's officers in the last few months that just don't call in to those DLD hearings. They don't call in. Most times the driver's license division will not take action.
In Utah, do you have to take the breath test, the roadside test? Can you refuse it?
Here in Utah, it's an implied consent law. So when you get a driver's license here in Utah, 16, 18, whenever, you've implicitly signed up or consented, hey, if an officer asks you for blood, breath, or urine, you consented to give that. Now, can you refuse it? Yes, you can refuse it. But the penalty is generally an 18-month suspension on your driver's license. To where if you would have submitted to it, and let's just say your blood alcohol level was over a .05 here in the state of Utah, and if you lose your driver's license, the suspension is 120 days.
Okay, so I've been pulled over. Besides the breath test, are there things the police are looking for?
There's like 24 clues they look for. There's driving pattern, there's sudden movements, hard braking, acceleration. A clue's not if you hit an object, it's if you almost hit an object, which I always find that strange. There is a slew of indicators officers are looking for. Like if they pull you over, if you're slow to pull over. I've had officers testify that they've pulled someone over, they pulled the wrong side of the road, or they bumped the curb, and they're looking for clues from the minute they come up to your car. Once you roll down the window, they're always smelling for alcohol. So these field sobriety tests that I've discussed, the 9-step walk and turn and the 1-leg stand test, those are they call attention divided tests. When they ask you at your door for your license, registration, and insurance, in a sense, that's an attention divided test, because they're always looking if you fumble, if you're stumbling. They're always looking for those kind of things. The perfect officer is, I smell alcohol, get you out of the car. But they're even getting you out of the car, they're looking if did you undo your safety belt? Did you use the car to get out? Did you use the car to stand when you got out? There's all kinds of clues like the officers are looking for.
Our thanks to Utah DUI defense attorney Zachary C. Holbrook for being on Ask the Expert today. Call him at 801-624-6204.
Thanks for listening to Ask the Expert with Steve Sleeper. Join us next time as entrepreneurs and professionals share their intriguing stories of success and service.